I bet other people are going to be curious about this. How do I start writing up the third generation transition? So I'm going to make an assumption about what you're asking, and then I want you to clarify if I'm wrong in my assumption. So I'm guessing you're talking about mostly the ownership transition from second to third generation, but you probably also have some thoughts in mind about who's, some day-to-day kind of stuff. I'm seeing a little bit of a nod. Is that accurate? Yeah. Okay. So my number one recommendation for how to start writing up that transition is to start with the big picture in mind. And I actually have 6 questions that I think are really helpful to answer. And I'm wondering, Kristen, while I go through this, would you type them into the chat? So question number 1 is, as owners of the business, so not as the people running it and not as the family member, these are all questions as owners. What are our guiding principles? So that's the first one. What are our guiding principles? Those will help you define. Getting clear on your guiding principles will help put some guardrails around all the documents that you need to write up in the ownership transition, the buy-sell, the maybe the bylaws, et cetera. So what are our guiding principles? The way I recommend identifying your guiding principles is to look back from day one of the business and what are the big decisions that have been made? Why did you start? Well, you probably didn't if you're second generation. Why was the business started? Maybe why did you buy another business or sell a part of the business or buy a building or, those major ownership decisions. And when you dig into that content, you'll usually find there are some themes and those become your guiding principles. By the way, everything I'm sharing right now, I put into a very short little book called Start Here, a guide for family business succession. So you can get the whole deep dive on that if you want to get your hands on that book. But first question, what are our guiding principles? Second question, what is the legacy we are trying to create as owners? That's question number 2. And that question actually has 2 parts. So the first part of your legacy is, why do we own this business? Because even though this is a weird thing to say, the truth is you could sell the business, take a pile of money, divide it up, give that pile of money to the next generation and have a much less complicated life. So why are you owning the business? And then the second part of your legacy is, what are you trying to create by owning this business that will exist in 100 years? So what is that oak tree you're planting today that you will never sit under? Or that walnut tree? Walnut trees grow slow, right? Maybe oaks do too. I like oak trees. We'll say oak tree. So that's the second question. Third is, what do you want ownership to look like in 10 years? Does second generation still want to own it? Do they not want to own it? Do they want to own a little bit of it? That kind of thing. The fourth question is, what is our ownership philosophy? So what is our philosophy of ownership? And that has 4 parts. So your ownership philosophy includes, what does it take to own the company? And what I mean by that is, do you have to work there? Do you have to buy the shares or are they gifted to you? Do you have to be on the leadership team? Do you have to be a certain age? Do you have to be a member of the family? What are that? Your guiding principles, again, will help you define your ownership philosophy. So first part of your ownership philosophy, what does it take to own it? Second one is, what does it take to work in the business? And I'm not telling you this is the answer, but examples I have seen are things like, there has to be a real job for you. You have to be qualified. I've seen some family businesses say you have to work somewhere else for a certain amount of time, or you have to work somewhere else and get a raise there before you can come work in the family business, things like that. Third piece of your ownership philosophy is, how do we make decisions? Does the majority shareholder make the final decision? Do we vote? Things like that.